guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm so freaking excited because I want to talk about the new Pat McGrath holiday collection that just kind of sneak peeked. It's not a sneak peek. I mean, it's like an official launching post to what am I saying? It's an official announcement. I think announcement is what I'm trying to say. I am excited for it. I don't know what it is, but it has my heart. I feel like the last few Pat McGrath collections have really had me going, and I want to talk about it, so that's what we're gonna do today. But I also thought I would talk about every product I've ever tried from Pat McGrath as well in this video, so that'll be in here. I have some demos for different looks. Like today I did this blushy ethereal thing. I was trying to channel the celestialness that is Pat McGrath, you know? So that's kind of where I went with my look today, but I'm really excited. I don't know what it is about these holiday collections. I just have like a renewed vigor for makeup and loving what I have, trying some new stuff, like just all of it. I'm so into it. And so, whatever it is, I mean, not only Pat McGrath's collection, there are a few other things that have been, you know, sneak peeking, launching, dropping, and I'm like, why? Like, do you feel this way too? I know it's so early for holiday, like that is kind of annoying, like, you know, I know, it's like we haven't even hit October yet. It's not even like close to Halloween, what's going on. But I will say, some of these collections, some of these little like holiday things, even from Too Faced, like I don't hate it as much as I used to. Like, I don't know, tell me what you're thinking about these collections, but let's just get into Pat McGrath. Like that's what this video really is about. This collection, this is called the Celestial Nirvana collection, is no joke. It is massive. Like I know last year I think Bridgerton was kind of the holiday release, plus no, there was also a holiday release. What am I talking about? But there really wasn't a ton, I feel like, last Christmas or last holiday. Whereas this year we are getting it all. We have one of these Mothership mega palettes called Celestial Nirvana, named after the collection. We have two, I think they're 5-pan. All of her pictures are moving. Why does Instagram have to be reels? Why can't we just have fucking pictures? Jeez. Anyway, we can't though. We're not allowed pictures on Instagram. How absolutely annoying. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, I found a still picture. Here we go. There are two 5-pan palettes, which have me so excited. I don't think we've ever seen a form like this with these 5-pan palettes. So those have me so excited. There are two different blush palettes, and these have 4 blushes in them and like a highlighter on the side, which has me like very excited. And then there's a highlighter, like a single pan highlighter, that has me excited. There's a blush, it looks like, yeah, Nude Venus 2, and then there are some lipsticks, an eye kohl. Like this is no joke. Okay, there's so much going on here. I can't wait to get into all of it. So let's start off with the palette itself, the big one, the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. This has mattes, it has metallics, it is so colorful. Can we talk about the fact that this is actually giving color? And to be real, this is what I thought the Utopian Dreams palette was gonna look like, more like anyway. I really did think we were gonna get more of those purples that are in here, the pinks, the pinky purples. There's a lot of color going on in this, and we know that I've kind of moved into my neutral phase for a little bit. I still like color, but I definitely, you know, I can get down with some more neutral, softer tones, that type of stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, like there's a part of me that is excited about this. The swatches look so festive, so beautiful. I'm tempted by this palette for sure. I have, and we'll get into this later in the video, but I did pick up the Mega Mothership from last year. This is the Celestial Odyssey, and I do really like this palette. Now, usually in these types of palettes, they don't normally have as many like special shades as the actual Mothership palettes, the 10 shadow ones, but these are also so much more affordable. I want to say this like is in the $70 range, where normally the 10 pans are like $129. So I have a feeling, and I'm assuming, that this is also going to be more at that price point. I'm also seeing a breakdown here of showing like 3 different 6 pans within this large palette, and I really like seeing the breakdown that way. It helps you get an idea of like different colors you could do, and I'm really just excited to see truly something more colorful from Pat McGrath, and that's so interesting to me. I kind of want it, like I do. I can't, like I'm trying, and we'll have to talk more about more holiday releases like in one video maybe, because as much as I'm like so excited, like you know, it feels good to be loving the thing I love. I feel like so much of my relationship with makeup has been tug and pull. Like that doesn't even make sense. That sounds sexual. I just feel like I've had a lot of complicated feelings about makeup for a very long time, and I've really just gotten back to the roots of just like realizing how much of a joy it is in my life and how much it actually just is a good thing for me in a lot of ways. And so anyway, that all being said, I also know that, you know, these holiday collections, some of them might be really good pickups for me, right? But some might not be. Some might just be fleeting moments. Some might just be beautiful to look at but won't get as much practical use. And obviously there's always new stuff coming out. So, you know, trying to kind of discern what's going to be best for myself, I want to try to do that without having everything come into my collection. But this Pat McGrath holiday stuff is making it so hard. So this I'm tempted by. I don't know if I'm going to pick this palette up. I'm tempted though. I'm not going to lie. I'm very tempted by it. Then we have these 5 pans, okay? These 5 pans are beautiful. I especially love the rosy toned one, which I know is hilarious because I feel like everyone's so over Pat McGrath doing rosy tones, but I only have one big mothership from her. I have the Bronze Seduction. So I don't have the Divine Rose and the Divine Rose 2 and Utopian Dreams. Like, I don't have all those palettes. And so this little 5 pan looks like it has some really nice shimmers. It's shimmer heavy, it looks like, which you have my attention. Like, I'm so excited about that. And it just looks like something I would wear every day. It looks like the look I have today. So in one way, it means that I'd probably wear it a lot, but then that also means like, bitch, do you have it? Probably, but I love it. I love how compact it is too. That's one of the things with the Pat McGrath stuff. Obviously the mega motherships are mega, but even the 10 pan palettes are quite large. Like, they're heavy to hold when you're doing your makeup. There's like kind of that to factor in. And I really love that this is a bit smaller. So I'm into those for sure. The like more golden one is also really pretty. I can see some really beautiful looks, and maybe in person it'd be even more beautiful, but I guess out of the two I'm definitely more attracted to that Nude Allure. All of her names are like a mashup of all of her names. Does that make sense? Like, the 5 pan's called Nude Allure. This highlighter that I love is called Lunar Allure. Then there's stuff called Lunar, what's this? This is called Lunar Nude. This is the highlighter from last holiday. Then we had the Celestial Odyssey palette. Now we have the Celestial Nirvana palette. Like, it's a whole Pat McGrath universe of names, isn't it? Okay, so moving on to blush palettes, let's really talk about these. I am so into blush palettes. What in the hell is going on? Even, why am I talking about Tarte in a Pat McGrath video? I don't know, but for some godforsaken reason, I am attracted to the Tarte blush palette that's come out, and I have not been into the Tarte blush stuff since, I don't know, 2016, 2015. Anyway, you know, I know we've talked at length about face palettes and how they cannot be a good deal, and you really want to make sure it's the right stuff for you, blah, 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 but tell me why I'm attracted to every goddamn blush palette that comes out. I really am. So I love both of them. I think they're both so pretty. They have a highlighter on the side. I think these are new shades. That's what it's saying in here. So the first one is a little bit, I guess, brighter, and then there's one that's a little bit more neutrally. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, in a world where I'm just like, whatever, like, I want all of it. I literally want this whole collection. That's really saying a lot to me. I don't know if I'll pick these up though. I also have like a bit of a love-hate relationship with the blushes, so I have to like remember that. I have to remember it. But sometimes I really love them. So I don't know. I'm tempted by the blush palettes. The thing is, all this shit's gonna be so expensive. And I think I'm gonna really have to decide what I know I want no matter what, and then what I might pick up maybe when it goes half off. Because she does that sometimes. She will do her holiday stuff half off. That's how I got the highlighter from last holiday, and I'm so glad I picked that up. And so that might be something I'm thinking about. Then we get into the single blush that's in here, which is absolutely beautiful. It almost looks like it has a bit of a sheen on it. It's called the Nude Venus 2 Peach Nude Blush with a satin pearl finish. I love that it has a pearly finish on it, so I'm tempted. I want to pick that up. And then the highlighter, I know for sure I'm getting. I know for sure, like, if there's one thing I'm gonna buy, it's that highlighter. Love the embossing, love the way it looks. Like, I love the highlighter from the last holiday so much that I'll buy that. I'm gonna buy that. Then we have the lip stuff, not something I'm very interested in just because I don't tend to get lured into lip products very often. So I don't think I'll pick any of that up. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize there are mascaras as well. Colorful. This is like the Utopian Dream release, but for holiday. Like, what is going on? I don't know if I would wear them, but I do think they're so pretty. And again, really match the Utopian Dreams kind of launch to me. I think there's also a kohl pencil, but I think it's just black, so it is tough. I'd love to know, what are you thinking about picking up? Are you intrigued by this collection? Do you find this exciting? Do you not give a shit about it? And if you're one of those people, I'm kind of there's a part of me that's slightly jealous, because I'm like, how much? This is so much money, and it's not the only things I want. So I really want to try to be good about what I actually pick up. What am I actually going to be upset or sad that I don't have maybe later? Like, really trying to dig into that, because with the Bridgerton collection that came out last year, not the second Bridgerton, the first one, I really wanted that collection. And then I finally got over it, was glad I didn't get it. And I'm not going to lie, then I have this feeling now like, oh man, I wish I had that. Like, I'm still intrigued by those icy blues. I like pinks and I like neutrals and all this stuff even more than probably when I liked that collection back then. So yeah, it's complicated over here, okay? I'm like always going in different waves, but I'm definitely excited. I loved seeing this. It feels so festive. It makes me so excited. And I know for sure, if there's one thing coming home with me, it's that highlighter. So that all being said, let's talk. I'm gonna move over. I wanted to talk about the Pat McGrath palettes and things that I have. I thought that would be a nice piece to this video, and also a good reminder to me of like, what do I have? What do I use? Why do I like it for? And maybe it could help me decide on what I do or don't want, that type of thing. So I think the first real thing I ever purchased was the Bronze Seduction. This is what the outside packaging looks like. It's so pretty. Like, see, I was trying to go for it. I really was. And this is the lacquered. I mean, I don't know why I'm acting like you've never seen this shit before, like you have. But this is what it looks like on the inside. This is actually what I used for my look today. I'll have two different looks in here because I was supposed to film this video yesterday, but you know, hormones, I'm emotional. It wasn't really working out. So, you know, we got a couple more looks, I guess, with the products. I guess that's the silver lining. Anyway, this is it. And for the look today, I really wanted to focus on something romantic. I really liked the headband. So I went with this really frosty, textured pink shadow. So stunning. Tell me why I'm not using it more. This really does have some beautiful special shades in them. And I know people like talk about the Pat McGrath special shades and loving them, but they really are so beautiful, and they're luxury yet fun and kind of whimsical and just celestial. I mean, it makes sense why she uses that word all the time. I think this is a beautiful color story, and it's interesting because I've had, if you've been here, a rocky relationship with this palette. I initially got it, was so excited because I thought, oh, this is the one for me. And then I feel like I started getting into more colorful stuff, right? And this is quite neutral. So as I got into more colorful palettes, I think I felt like this was kind of boring. I also didn't really love the formula, and some of the mattes in here can be a little hard to work with. They're just very pigmented, and I was used to, at the time, I feel like more so now I can like handle this type of formula, but I really liked something more like Makeup Geek or ABH, like those really fluffy, powdery, Lorac even, where you get pigment, but you know, it's a little more forgiving. I feel like this and Natasha Denona, although they're not like the same formula, I find them to be more of that luxury formula that is quite pigmented. And so that all was happening. And then now I've kept it all these years because it's so expensive. Again, $129. I bought this with my own money. I don't even think I got a deal on it. Like, it would break my heart to get rid of it. And now I feel like, oh, I could come back around to it after a few years that way. So it's a wild ride over here in my life. I'm on a journey, guys, okay? I'm on a journey. Thanks for being here. But yeah, I really especially love this special shades. But I don't love the packaging. That's one of the things, and I know that's what makes it like luxe and expensive and so nice, but I find this to be just heavy to do my eye makeup and like hold this up and do it. It's a little cumbersome. It's kind of like heavy on your hand. It's not ideal to me, honestly. I actually would prefer something a little bit smaller, a little bit more even potentially lightweight. And I also really wish that they came in different packaging so you could tell the difference between them instead of just like the same one every time. So those are some of my thoughts on the Bronze Seduction. For this eye look, like I said, I used that shade, but I also then used a blush to do the crease work. I really didn't use any matte shadows. Instead, I just did blush, and I really like the way that turned out, which I guess I'll go into next. It's not really in an order, but this is the blush in the shade Flirtatious. This is what I have on my crease and like in my crease, but it's also the blush that I'm wearing today. I really love the formula of this blush, and so that's why what made me so excited to try the duos. I feel like I've gone back and forth on this color. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I wish it was like more neutral. Sometimes I wish it was more colorful. But again, like what I'm trying to do with like not decluttering everything the moment it doesn't work for me, like I'm back into loving this, you know what I mean? Like I'm at the place where I love this color blush right now. So I really enjoy that the way this goes on. I feel like this formula is so blendable, buildable, and maybe it's just this color, but I genuinely love it. I hate the packaging. It's kind of hard to open. That's not ideal, but really love this blush, which is one of the reasons I'm excited for the blush palettes, kind of interested. But then I got this duo blush, and I don't know if it's just because it's a little bit darker, so it just takes a little bit more finessing, a little bit of a lighter hand, but I have not had the same experience with this blush as I had the other one, and that's what makes me kind of like, will the blush palettes work for me? This is the shade Paradise Glow, and I need to give this even more time because, again, as I've been saying, you know, my preferences change quite a bit, or have changed quite a bit more recently. And even when it comes to blush, I feel like when I got this, I thought it was gonna be more neutral. We all know that Pat McGrath, when it comes to swatches and what you actually see in real life, you know, it could be a little different, okay? And I feel like that's what happened with this. I thought it was gonna be a little more neutral brown leaning, but getting it, it's a little bit more ruddy. It's a little bit more colorful and red. And so at the time, I really wanted that neutral brown blush, but I am actually into this type of color more now, even just in 4 months, you know? So I really need to give this more of a shot is what I'm trying to say. And I think that will also help me determine. So that's something that I've tried from Pat McGrath. I picked up the blush palette that came out with the Celestial Odyssey collection from last holiday, but I picked this up like after the fact. So I got this on sale. This is the Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun, and we have like a cooler tone, a warmer tone, and then there is like a highlighter in here. This is a really beautiful selection of products. I will say I have not used this as much as I should, and that's one of the things I'm really trying to consider with all these blush palettes trying to come for me, is like, do I, as much as I love seeing all the blushes together because I just love blush and I can picture myself wearing it, am I doing that? Or am I really just reaching for singular blushes that I've picked out and really chosen over other blushes? That's what I need to kind of decide. And when it comes to this one, I've definitely neglected it a little bit. I've also had an influx of blushes, so that could be partially why as well. The highlighter in here is the same formula as the highlighters that released this year in the permanent range. I'm pretty sure it's the same formula anyway. It feels very similar. The one in here has a bit of a golden sheen to it, and I think it's not bad. It's just not my favorite right now. But again, preferences and my preferences and styles change. So I could see at some point it working for me. It's not like it's unusable, my skin tone or something like that. So anyway, I have this blush palette. I want to use it more. It's beautiful. The formulas are great. I do feel like the holiday formulas tend to be just as good with Pat McGrath. Like I don't feel like there's a quality difference in lowered, except for in the palettes, like the big palettes, you don't get the special shades as much. Other than that, I don't find like the mattes or even just regular shimmers are really different. Okay, let's talk about this big old mothership, the mega mothership. This is from holiday last year. Again, the Celestial Odyssey palette. I'm gonna leave my video down below. This is so beautiful. I love the colors in here. I talked about this before, but I felt like this was such a festive palette at the time. I still do. There are some really beautiful, colorful shades in here. There still are a lot of those pinky tones. Lots of those as well in this palette. I love it. I did a look yesterday and I really wanted to focus on this orange shade because I really haven't dug into that one and I wanted to try it. So I first went in actually with this lighter kind of apricot golden shade. It has a little bit of orange, a little bit of gold, and I used that just to kind of blend out my crease. I really wanted something like shimmery. I love a shimmery look, so I started off with that. Then I went in with the light brown that's in here, put that in the crease, put that in the outer corner, and then I just tapped the orange shade that's in here all over my lids. And then even at the end, I decided to add a little extra sparkle. There's kind of a topper in here. There's a couple like more special shades in here, but not the most special shades. Like they're kind of this in between. And so I tapped that on and gave it a little bit of extra sparkle. Really pretty look. Like I do enjoy the formula of these. It's one of the palettes too. This is something that I'm like considering because again, once holiday passes, like what's gonna really be in my collection? What am I actually gonna really love? And although I don't use these all of the time, they are products in my collection that I want to keep and I know are great quality, that I know are gonna give me stunning looks every time I use them. And so there's something to that. This has the same problems though to me as the motherships in the sense that it is a massive palette. I do love me a mini palette. You guys know that. That's probably my preferred everyday thing. But I also love this, so I don't know. It's tough over here. I love that those aren't super expensive though, and I don't know about this new one. It's like, I'm intrigued by the color, excited by the fact that it's like more colorful, I feel like, than anything I've seen from her. But at the same time, I'm like, just because she's releasing something more colorful, do I need it? Like, I don't necessarily, is that gonna be good for me? I don't know. Am I gonna be sad if I don't have it? I don't know. That's what I need to figure out. I only have a few more products to talk about. I don't have the biggest Pat McGrath collection. I feel like I've only been getting into Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, that type of like tier, I feel like, of makeup more in the last year or so. The last eyeshadow palette that I have though is a quad. This is, look at this. I love this. This is the Venus in Fleurs Luxe Quad in Voyeuristic Vixen. She always has these names, doesn't she? I think this is a stunning little quad. I love these kind of rosy brown shades, like these rosewood shades are some of my favorites. I love them. There's a really nice highlighting shade, super bright in here. I love this one. It's a little bit sheer, a little bit more sparkly for all over the lid on its own, or, you know, paired up with some stuff. And then we do get a special shade in here, which has a duochromatic flip to it. It's like a golden, a very yellow golden orange, and then it flips to a hot pink. So stunning, flaky, shimmery, textured. Like, you guys know the shit that I love. So I love this little quad so much. I love this. This is like my newest eyeshadow pickup, like the only one I picked up this year, I guess. And it was an old release. It wasn't like, I didn't buy it when it first came out. I bought it after the fact and finally realized what I was missing out. So I absolutely love that. And you know, it's interesting, even talking right now, I'm like, okay, I love this small little permanent piece, or I don't know if it's permanent, it might not be available anymore, but it definitely didn't come out like super limited necessarily. And although I love this, I'm not raving about it nearly as much, so maybe those 5 pans are more where it's at for me. I don't know. Let's talk about highlighters. This is the highlighter from last holiday, the Lunar Nude. This is the highlighter I'm wearing today on my cheekbones. I absolutely love this. You've been seeing me rave about this in different favorites videos this year. I've really just been obsessed with this, okay? I love this highlighter oh so much, and I almost didn't pick this up. I got this half off like after the fact, or you know, a little after the launch, and I was like, okay, for $30 I'll pick it up. And how much I love this, I'm like, you know, I told you, the one thing I know I'm getting is the highlighter, and I'll probably just buy it at launch. I know. I probably could wait, but I want to make sure I get it. I love this that much. Like, the color on it is just perfect. It's not too light. It doesn't look too stark on me, but it really melts in with my blush a little bit. There's something kind of rosy about it, but still warm. It has a beiginess to it. It's just literally so perfect, and I love it oh so much. The formula is also so nice where it's shiny. It definitely has that shine, but it's not so metallic. It's not too thick. It doesn't have too much of a base. Like, perfection, okay? Perfection. And my love for this definitely has me inclined, and like, I'm going to pick up the one in this one. Hopefully the color, I mean, I want it to be different. I don't want to pick up the same highlighter, but I also hope that that highlighter looks as good, at least has the same formula, please. The other highlighter I have is the one that came out this year, another one I know you've heard me talk tons about. This is a lot more icy, a lot lighter. I have to be a little careful about not putting too much of this on, but it also blends out so beautifully, and you can get something sheer. My favorite ways to wear it are like on the brow bone, in the inner corner, and on my nose as a highlight. I know that's like very specific, but that is how I love to wear it the most. For whatever reason, it just shines in those places, and it's also not too much. It's not too metallic, but has enough shine to be something luxe and glam looking. So I absolutely love this, even though the tone of this is not really what I've been going for. I don't love something too icy, but using a lighter hand, buffing this in, you don't get like a white streak. You don't get the like like iciness in that way. It somehow kind of like melts into the skin and just looks really wet almost, and like glass-like, and really just so shiny and so beautiful. So I love the highlighters from Pat McGrath, and I want to pick that up. The last two products, one is a mascara. I tried it a long time ago. I got it sent to me, I think through like Octoly or something. I don't really remember my thoughts on that. So I know I've tried that, can't remember. The only dud, the true dud that I have from Pat McGrath is the Intensifies Artistry Wand. This is not worth 30 something dollars. Do not get sucked in. I really loved the idea of this being like a primer that I could just swipe on, tap on my stuff. And if you really like click up the pen, really get it on your eyes, it does have a little bit of a tacky base. It's almost like a drier Vaseline or something, if you can get it to get onto your eyes, but it's just not, I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's worth the money. And even since I've had this, I can tell it's like dried up a little, like in the base. Like I don't love this so far. Again, I tried it today just to try, and I did find it was sticking my eyeshadow on. So for some of those flaky shades, I might keep trying it, but I just feel like it's so expensive for what it is, and I don't think it's needed. You could just use just your regular primer, use a tacky base. Like it's gonna do the same thing. And I also don't think this is gonna help with creasing at all, because it doesn't dry down like that either. So yeah, this is a no. Don't get this. That's everything that I've tried from Pat McGrath. Those are all of my complicated thoughts. I don't have like for sure final anything on what I'm gonna pick up or what I'm not, but I'd love to hear from you. Like, would you like to see some stuff? Is there something you're really interested in or into? I can't really do like comparisons with like what Pat McGrath has come out with in the past, since you guys have seen my collection of her stuff. It's not a ton, but I'm definitely very interested in this collection. It feels so festive. I'm very just excited to see what's gonna come out from some of the other brands. Like I just love it. It makes me so excited, and I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts. Like whether you like it or you're not into it, I still want to hear what you guys think. It has me excited for the makeup, you guys, and just like doing beautiful looks too, because there's also so many looks to be had. Maybe that's what I need to do, is create a single shadow version of that palette and see how much I actually like it in person. Like if I really sit there and like look at each color and try to dupe it like that, do I actually like it? Would I actually wear it? What am I gonna do? I know it's different formulas, like, you know, but that big palette is the one really stumping me. It's really stumping me on if I'll actually use it more than right when I get it. You know, like in 6 months, in a year, will I be happy I have it? I don't know. I have some thinking to do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and just chatting about the new Pat McGrath stuff. I really just wanted a place for us to chat about it before it comes out. I don't know when it's launching. I don't know if we have a date yet. It just says coming soon, I think. So I don't think we know quite when it's coming out, but I love having a little bit of time at least to think about it, chat about it. It's not like a sneak attack on us, and we can really decide if we want it or not and just chat about it. Isn't that why we're little makeup lovers, right? We love to do this. So anyway, I'm leaving. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.